Okay, so next up, we have Sismo Connect Sovereign SSO using zkParis by Leo Sayous at Sismo.
I say launch the video. Okay. Okay, cool. Hey. So hello, I'm Leo, I'm from Sismo, and I'm very happy to be here. So at Sismo, we are doing applied ZK, and we enable, we are leveraging zero knowledge proof to enable users to aggregate their identity and selectively disclose some piece of personal data to applications. So here you can see we have different accounts, 0x1 and 0x2. And using Sismo and Sismo Connect, users can aggregate this data, these identities, and only disclose some piece of personal data to application with a zero knowledge proof, basically. So to explain further how it works, we are going to a demo. So I wanted to do it live here, but I don't have a computer, so I tried to take a video. I hope it will be good. Otherwise, you can go to apps.sismo.io with your phone. We have and click on demo, and you will be able to try it out. So for a bit of context, last year, when there was this Tornado Cache issue, we printed the Tornado Cache code in a artwork, basically. It's a 2 meters high artworks. And 2 months ago, Emiliano came to our office, and a lot of people asked us to have a version of this artwork. So what we did, we printed it in 10 versions, 10 different versions, and we wanted to do a lottery to be able to gain it. And the problem here is that we wanted that only users of Tornado Cache was able to basically enter this lottery. And in Tornado Cache, you have like, you can deposit and withdraw a lot of different times, so it's highly unstable. Also, your Tornado Cache address is a very private address you don't want to reveal at all. So what we have done is to add another requirement to enter this lottery is to prove that you have a Gitcoin passport with a score more than 15. So a score more than 15 in a Gitcoin passport means that you are a CB-resistant human, basically. And here, for instance, me, I have my Gitcoin passport, which is a bit doxing on my public ENS because I linked my Twitter account, which is doxed, and my GitHub accounts. So Gitcoin passport analyze all what I have done in Gitcoin and in GitHub and in Twitter, and give an activity like a score of CB resistance. But my Tornado Cache is a very private one. So here I don't want to link them at all. And I will use sign in with Sismo. So here Sismo Connect as a SSO flow to prove this fact and enter the lottery. So yeah, here we were in the lottery. We click on sign in with Sismo. Here we can see what we call the Sismo Data Vault. So it's like a password manager where you import all your different identities. And here you can see what you are going to share to the lottery registration as a data. So you see that you are going to prove that you are part of the Tornado Cache Ethereum depositor groups and that you have a Gitcoin passport with a value that is more than 15. So you generate your ZK proof in the browser, all happen in the browser only. And this ZK proof is sent back to the applications and can verify it. And this verification can happen off-chain, in the backend, in a server, basically, or on-chain. We have a Solidity library to verify it. So that was a bit like fast, sorry. So yeah, that's how it works. So you can try it by going to apps.sismo.io. So let's dig more into the Sismo Data Vault to see how it works. So basically, in this Sismo Data Vault, it's like a password manager. So all happen in the browser only, in local, where you can import your different accounts. So here we can see I have my Leo21 address, other address, and also a Twitter address. To do this, I will do what we call an off-chain commitment. So this commitment is the hash of a vault secret and a salt. I will link this account to this commitment and store the results of this into my Sismo data vault. And that means that all my accounts will be linked somehow to this vault secrets. This commitment has a hash of the vault secret and the salt, and they are all stored only in local in my browser. So my vault secret is only locally in my browser. So then in zero knowledge proof, I can prove that I know this vault secret, hash it again, and prove that I made my commitment, and then use these different accounts in zero knowledge proof directly. So that means that I can use GitHub account, Twitter accounts, and also ECDSA address very easily into zero knowledge proof. So this is made using what we call a commitment mapper. So there is an off-chain trusted service in it to work. So with all of this, I can prove ownership of my different data sources. So my different data sources are my different accounts that I have inside my Sismo data vault. To do this, I just do a proof, a zero knowledge proof, and send back the zero knowledge proof to the application, then can verify it. We are using CIRCOM, so we have the CIRCOM prover that run in the browser and the CIRCOM verifier that run in the application to verify the zk proof. So with CIRCOM, we can have a TypeScript verifier and a Solidity verifier, basically. So also, we have another type of data source. So I show you here all the GitHub, Twitter, Ethereum type of data sources, but we have what we call Vault ID. Basically, we share, we share zk proof to an application, and an application have an app ID. So when you create your application into Sismo, you will have a random number that will be assigned to your application. And by hashing in zero knowledge proof your vault secrets with this app ID, you will generate what we call the vault ID, which is a unique identifier for your application. It can be seen as a user ID that represents your Sismo data vault to the application. And so, for instance, here we can see a lot of different type of data source ownership that we can prove with Sismo Connect and with zero knowledge proof. So Ethereum account, Twitter account, GitHub account, but also Vault ID for app ID 1, Vault ID 2 for app ID 2, that will be different. So each time I connect to this different type of application, I have a different user ID for the application. So it can be seen as different identities a bit for this application. And they are all linked together thanks to this vault secret. So I have at the end only one vault secret that allow me to prove ownership of all these accounts. And this is interesting because I can use this different vault ID as a nullifier into my different application. Basically, let's say I do an airdrop, I prove membership of different group like Tornado Cash depositors, Gitcoin passports, and then I have this unique vault ID for the application I can store on chain, so I won't be able to do it again and again. So our zero knowledge proof are basically like we saw that we made some proof of ownership of data sources, but now we can do proof of ownership of groups membership. So for that, we have a whole infrastructure where we have different, what we call the data groups. So each type of group have their own Merkle tree. It's Poseidon hash Merkle tree to be very easy to verify into zero knowledge proof. And this Merkle tree have a value. So it's like a bit like a key value store that you will be able to bring this data inside your zero knowledge proof and do predicate or statements around this data. For instance, when I did Gitcoin passport holders with a score more than 15, that means that my group, I think it's maybe this one, oh no, sorry. That means that my group had a value, I had my real value inside, like let's say a score of 42, but I was only sharing that I have a score that is more than 15 by bringing this data directly into my zero knowledge proof. So here we can see different type of data groups. So you see we can, for instance, encode different level and use this level to get access to application only if you have more than level 3, level 4, and so on. We can also do data group of Vault ID. So for instance, for the privacy is normal lottery I show you with a demo, at the end, when you do the flow, you store only the Vault ID I generated for this application. This will create a group of here. I have all the group of the lottery winners. It's a group of all the Vault IDs for this application that have been made. And later on, I can come again and prove that I own this Vault ID and claim the fact that I win effectively my Tornado Cache print. So in this process, there is no trusted off-chain service at all because you are just doing the hash of your Vault secret and the app ID to prove ownership of your Vault ID, so your identity. So we have a whole Merkle tree as a service infrastructure to scroll and update these groups, these data groups at a daily frequency. So we have around 1,000 groups for now. The community has created what we call data providers to fetch data from different sources. And it's automatically computed and sent on chain whenever it's updated. So in the zero knowledge proof we are proving ownership of data sources. We are proving inclusion of these data sources in a data group. And then we are verifying some requests on the value. Basically, is this value equal or greater than or equal to be able to do this predicate around the value. So you have more than 15, so you have exactly 3 as a value inside the group. Sismo Connect is all the developer experience you have on top of this zero knowledge proof. So the goal is to be very easy to integrate into your application as a developer that don't know anything about zero knowledge proof, basically. So what you have, like this is a flow, you have a button. Here we see it's a claim with Sismo button. Then the user is redirected to his Sismo data vault, generates the proof. The proof is sent back to the application that verifies it. So to integrate Sismo, the user needs to do a request of the data he wants, basically an authentication or a group membership proof. And then he needs to verify it in his backend or his smart contract. So here, we can see an off-chain integration. So basically, we have this button that is integrated in the front end of the application, and you have a piece of code in the backend, the server, to verify the zero knowledge proof, and that the request, the zero knowledge proof corresponds to the request that was made. So here you can see the code is very simple. You just have a button where you declare your different authentication you want, your claims you want to do, so proof of group membership. And the corresponding backend, here's the TypeScript backend to verify the proof. So now you can do exactly the same flow, but on chain. So it will be very similar. The button will be exactly the same, but in your contract, you will have Solidity, and you will use a DevX that is like this one to verify your zero knowledge proof, and then do operation with the result of the verified proof. Thank you, and
awesome, thank you. Do we have any questions for Leo? Going once, going twice? Yes.
Great presentation, thank you. Just a question perhaps I missed earlier. Where are the vaults hosted off-chain?
Yeah, so the vault, the Sismo data vault is like a password manager. So basically, it's like a JSON file which is encrypted in your browser. So it happens only in your browser, and the encrypted blob of data is stored on a database of ours. And then you have, so I didn't show this, but you have owners that you choose that can decrypt this blob of secrets. And so basically, you can have Web3 type of owners, and we have what we call recovery key also. So you need to save this recovery key or to have your Web3 account to be able to decipher it. So if you, yeah.
No, that makes sense. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Thanks, Leo.
Thank you.